So I want to welcome you all to the Lunch and Learn Wednesday workshop series. This is the very first one in the series, and I'm so glad you all are here for it and here to learn with me. And this week we're going to be learning about powerful thoughts to help you create any result. And so before we begin, I want to get my page to advance. There we go. I want to share a little bit about where we're going today so that you know what to expect. We're going to start out talking about our human brain. And the reason that I want to start talking about the brain is because the brain is where all of our thoughts come from. So in order to really understand how we can choose and create powerful thoughts that get us the results we're looking for, we have to start with talking about the brain. And I promise it will not be boring and it will be very enlightening. It was something that really changed my life when I learned about it. Then I'm going to teach you about why some thoughts are not true. I'm going to teach you how to become a thought watcher and why our thoughts matter more than our actions when it comes to getting the results that we want in life. Finally, I'm going to teach you how to decide your thoughts to help you reach any goal. And there will be a few minutes at the end for questions. So before we begin, I would like for you to think of one big result that you would like to create in your life. And this could be like a super secret result that maybe you've never told anyone about. But that is something that you were like, this is something that is on my bucket list to get done before I die. So be thinking of that one big thing you would like to create in your life as we go through and listen to what I have to tell you today. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to throw them into the chat and I will try to answer them at the end. Any question is a great question. So don't like hold back, just feel free, because I can guarantee if you're thinking it, there's probably someone else here who is thinking it as well. So please ask questions freely. So let's get started with that Science 101, the human primal brain. And the primal brain is, it's quite a, I like to think of it as quite a little booger. Our brain has evolved since the time that we were living in caves. But unfortunately, the primal brain is the part of our brain that is the oldest part and still thinks that we live in caves, hence the name primal brain. This is the least evolved part of our brain. And unfortunately, it plays a really significant role in our lives even today because it is the part of our brain that regulates our emotions. Our fear, our stress, our confusion, our happiness, our joys, our comfort, all of those are regulated by this part of our brain that still thinks that we're living in the year like 1000 BC. So that is a little bit of trouble for us as we are feeling emotions about things that are happening in our life today that our brain doesn't think it's not thinking in modern times, it's still thinking in primal times. So our primal brain has 3 goals, which are to keep us safe, to keep us alive, and to keep us lazy. So it wants to keep us safe, it wants to keep us alive in survival, and it wants to help us save energy. And if anything threatens any of those 3 things, the primal brain reacts by sending us a thought or an emotion. We'll use those 2 things, our thoughts and our emotions, to help keep the status quo. Because again, its 3 goals are to keep us safe, to keep us alive, and to keep us in a state where we would have energy. And if you think about it, life back in the prehistoric times, those were the 3 things that mattered the most because life was way more unpredictable back then. You never knew when you would need to have a burst of energy to outrun a cougar or, when the next famine was going to be coming through. So you needed to be able to have the capacity to handle all of those things. And the primal brain Again, still thinks that those are risks to us in this life. And while we may have other risks in this day and age, those risks are not meshing with the primal brain. So the other thing I want you to know is that the primal brain loves familiarity and it loves certainty. And that's why it hates when you leave your comfort cave. And some of you may know the comfort cave by the name comfort zone. The primal brain loves familiarity and certainty. So again, anytime you're going to try to do anything, create any result for yourself that maybe is a little bit outside of your comfort zone, the primal brain is going to freak out and not want that to happen. And it's going to start sending you thoughts and emotions that are going to try to get you to turn right back around and head right back to your comfort cave. So one of the things I want you to know, which was a total shocker to me when I found this out, but not every thought that we think is true. Now I've heard differing thoughts on research about how many thoughts we have in a day. And I've heard as many as 60,000 thoughts in a day. More research, like the more recent research, says we have about 6,000 thoughts a day, which I went ahead and did the math, and that's about one thought every 15 seconds, including the time that we are sleeping. So mathematically, let's just go on the low end with 6,000. I can't even imagine 60,000, and I can't even also imagine how they could even measure something like that, but I'm sure the scientists have it all figured out. If we have 6,000 thoughts a day, one every 15 seconds, mathematically, it's virtually impossible for every one of those thoughts to be true. So think about that. Not every thought that you have is true. It's just not mathematically possible for it to be true. So where are those untrue thoughts coming from? Well, they're coming from your primal brain. And your primal brain is sending you those untrue thoughts because it wants you to go back to your comfort cave. Let me give you an example. So let's say you decide you're going to go on a diet. Okay. And you start out with a lot of energy and enthusiasm for your weight loss journey. And then it becomes really hard. And so your primal brain is sending you a message. Maybe it's sending you the message like, you know, you're not very good at dieting. You always give up on diets. Okay. And then you take that thought and you're like, you're right. I always do give up on diets. You go back to your comfort cave or your comfort zone of not dieting. The primal brain is happy because you're back in a state of comfort and it doesn't need to worry about your safety, your survival, or your energy levels. You're going to keep lots of calories in your diet so that in case you have to outrun that woolly mammoth that's coming through town, you can do it and it doesn't have to worry about you. Okay, some of our other thoughts come from society and our family in the form of unwritten rules. I remember my mom telling me when I was growing up that girls grow up and they grow up to be secretaries. And that is, as I was growing up and hearing that, thinking, is that really true? And fortunately, by the time that I did get through school and get through college, that was no longer a thing. But think about what rules has society given you that you have never stopped to question? You've never stopped to ask yourself, is that true? So you have internalized certain thoughts, and because you've internalized them, because you've been thinking them for so long, you're like, well, those simply must be true. How could they not be true? I've been thinking them forever. They've become a belief of mine. So what beliefs and thoughts do you have that are going through your brain 6,000 to 60,000 times a day that were thoughts that you never even gave yourself? They were given to you by someone else. I'm sure there's a lot of them. So I also want you to consider, I wrote here this last point to consider, is that thoughts are not facts. Not every thought is a fact, because facts have to be 100% true. So an example of that, let me see if I can give you an example. An example of that, a fact, is today is Wednesday. Okay. A thought would be, Wednesdays are the worst day of the week. That thought, Wednesdays are the worst day of the week, is not a fact, because let's say maybe my friend Kristen would say, I love Wednesdays. Wednesdays are fantastic. And my friend Ann might say, I don't think anything about Wednesdays. It's either the best or the worst day of the week. So the thoughts that we think, even if they feel true, are not necessarily true. You have to ask yourself, is this 100% true? And if it is, then it's a fact. And if not, it's just simply a thought. So one of the things that I do with my clients is I help them become a thought watcher. And what we do is we try to take ourselves and kind of look at our thoughts from an observation level. And this is kind of a tricky thing to do, but once you learn to do it, it's actually pretty cool. And the first thing that I teach them is to really try to hone in on their emotions. And when they're experiencing a negative emotion, I want them to stop and see if they can identify the thought that is causing the emotion. Okay. I have them trace backwards, like thinking about the feeling that they're experiencing, and see if they can trace backwards to get to the root thought. And sometimes this root thought is in their subconscious. It might be one that they're not even like aware of until they go searching for it. So why do I have my clients look for become thought watchers? Is because once you become aware of the thoughts that you're having that are holding you back, you can pick different thoughts. Okay, but until you become aware of them, they're going to keep calling the shots. So I teach my clients two things. I teach them how to ask, is this true, or does it just feel true? Okay. And then the other question is this just my primal brain trying to keep me safe? Those are two questions that you can ask to help you become a thought watcher. And so another tip for being a thought watcher is just imagine like what's going on in your head with your thoughts around certain situations. Imagine if that was happening kind of across the room to you. What do you see? What do you see going on? Maybe it's happening, like another way to look at it is maybe it's something happening in a book. What would the author write in the book to get you to understand what the characters are thinking? Okay, so becoming a thought watcher is very important so that we can overcome any thoughts that are holding us back. So why do your thoughts matter so much as far as getting positive results? A lot of people think that actions are what get us our result, but really it all goes back to a thought. You can't think a negative thought and get a positive result. So the way that it actually works is we have a fact or an event, and remember those facts or events are the things that are 100% true. And from that fact or event, we have a thought about it. And then that thought generates a feeling in our body. And it's because we feel something that we take action or we avoid certain actions by inaction. And then because of the actions that we take, we get a result. So I want to give you an example. Let's go back to weight loss. Let's say that we have the thought, I'm terrible at losing weight. That creates a feeling in our body, let's say, of dread. And when we're feeling dread, we're not very motivated to exercise. We're not very motivated to eat healthy, to watch what we're eating. And as a result, we are not going to be losing weight. So if our goal is to lose weight, we cannot lose weight by having a negative thought about our ability to lose weight. So what I also tell my clients is if you're not getting the result you want, it's possible that your thoughts are out of alignment. And sometimes this happens when we get those subconscious beliefs, those thoughts that we've been thinking for so long that we don't even realize we're having them. Sometimes those start taking control too. So if you're not getting the result you want, I want you to go back and look and see if you can find the thought that is causing you not to have the results that you want. So at the beginning of the session today, I asked you to think of a result, a big result you'd like to get in your life. And the cool thing is, what I want to teach you today is that you can start with that result and you can actually plan backwards. When I was a teacher, we called this backwards design, where we started with the result we wanted our students to get, and we designed backwards what they needed to learn and do and think in order to get that result. The same thing works with any result you want to create in your life. So I gave you an example here of writing a book, because I am an avid writer as well. Many of you know me from my writing business. So if I wanted to write a book, that would be the result I want to get. The actions I would need to take would be, I would need to schedule time, I would need to research, I would need to sit down and actually write, because it's not enough just to schedule the time. You have to actually sit down and write. Those are the actions I would need to take. As I'm taking those actions, the feeling I would want to feel would be focused. Okay. And then to feel focused, I need to have a good thought. So the thought that I could think is, it's time to bring my dream of writing a book to life. Okay. And then the factor event would be, I've wanted to write a book since I was 6. So you could see how you can work backwards to get any result. Now, if I wanted to flip it like I did on the last slide and show you it the other way, let's do it in reverse. I've always wanted to write a book since I was 6. So I'm going to carry the thought, it's time to bring my dream of writing a book to life. I'm going to choose to feel focused. I'm going to schedule time, research, sit and write. And the result will be that I will write a book. Now, the thing that you also need to keep in mind is this doesn't happen overnight, right? A lot of times people lose patience in the action stage and they let their thoughts slip, like this isn't happening fast enough. And when I was talking about your thoughts out of alignment, when your thoughts are not in alignment and you're thinking like this book thing is not happening quick enough, you're not going to get the result of writing a book. You're going to get the result of giving up on your book. So that's what I was talking about, alignment. So you can see also I gave other results that someone may want to get, like losing 20 pounds, taking time off for a vacation, getting a new job. Any result that they want, you can backwards design and to get the result that you're looking for. And we're going to do this together here in just a minute, but there's a couple of things else I wanted to mention to you. When you're designing the thought that you want to have to get your result, it's important to know that you cannot go from a totally negative thought to a totally amazing thought. The brain is going to call you out and it's going to be like, that is not true. So you can't go from I'm terrible at dieting to I'm amazing at dieting. Just is not going to work. It's too big of a gap. So what we do is we want to break our thoughts down into mini steps. So I gave this example here of I'm terrible at sticking to my schedule, because a lot of us make a schedule and maybe we don't stick with it. We cannot go from I'm terrible at making a schedule to I'm amazing at following my schedule. We need to go in steps. So we can go from I'm terrible at sticking to my schedule to I'm working on getting better at sticking to my schedule, to I'm improving at showing up to my schedule, to I'm pretty good at following my schedule, to I'm amazing at following my schedule. So I want you to see the difference in how you go from negative to more positive, but it's not such a huge jump that it's not believable. Okay. So we want to ladder our thoughts to be able to make progress in our thoughts. All right. So here's where it's your turn. And if you have a piece of paper, I would like for you to be thinking about these things. Okay. At the beginning of the session, I asked you to identify a result that you want. So under that, I want you to think, what are the actions you need to take to get that result? And by the way, you don't need to take notes on this page if any of you are taking notes, because I'm going to send you a worksheet with all of this on it later. Okay, so don't feel like you have to write all this part down. I want you to think, even if you're just going through this mentally. So the result you want, what actions would you need to take to get that result? See if you can list 3 of them. Have you got 3? Now, as you're taking those actions, how do you want to feel? And you want to pick an emotion that's believable for you. Okay. So the result you want, these are the actions I need to take. This is how I want to feel. So I'm taking those actions. And now see if you can identify a thought that will help you feel that way. All right. And again, I'm going to share a worksheet with you all later. Does anyone need help or want to be an example for us of doing this flow chart? Does anyone want to share theirs and we can work through it together? No brave takers today? Aida?
Sorry, I wanted to give someone else a chance first, but I raised my hand. So, okay.
Got it.
So you won't be surprised by this, Jen.
Okay.
Okay, so the thought is, it's time to just publish my website so I can start coaching.
Okay. Well, let's go backwards. What is the result you want to
the
get?
result, sorry. Okay, so the result is complete my website for my coaching practice.
Got it. What actions do you need to take?
Finish deciding on images or pictures.
Decide images.
Finish the copy.
Yep.
Which is mostly done.
Mm-hmm.
And then hit publish. Hit the button.
You got it. What is the feeling you want to have as you're doing this work?
I want to feel excited.
Okay. That's a great emotion. And to feel excited, what thought do you want to be thinking to help you feel excited about this project?
Well, now now that I've gone backwards and said excited, when I look at my thought, it doesn't really feel exciting.
Yes. That's really good. I mean, that's really good that you were able to identify it, because then that's going to be like where your thought is not aligned.
Right.
So
yeah. I kind of copied your thought about writing a book where you said it's time to write a book. I just put, it's time to, what did I say? The thought is it's time to bring being a coach a reality.
Mm-hmm. So can you think of a different thought that would make you feel excited enough to generate those activities which are going to get your website done and published?
I think what would probably generate more excitement would be there's people waiting for me that need my help. That's more exciting.
Yes. When I get my website done, it'll be easier for people to find me. There are people waiting for me. And this website is how I'm going to be able to connect to them. Now, does that make you feel excited?
Yeah, much more than the original one.
Good. Good, good, good. Any questions about that, Aida?
No, it's just interesting that I'm so used to going from the thought to the result, in that order.
Yeah.
But it's interesting when you do it backwards.
Yes.
The backwards design, it's more obvious to see when your feeling doesn't match your thought, or the thought doesn't really truly generate that feeling that you've written down.
Well, and also, like, so many of us know the result we want to create, but we don't know And we can identify the actions, but it's harder to do the feeling and it's harder to do the thought. So by doing it backwards, it makes it a lot clearer, I think.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Well, thank you for volunteering. Is there another volunteer? Anyone else want to work through theirs? Amy?
I picked weight loss as mine,
Sure.
and I picked the action steps.
Wait, hold on. Amy, how much weight do you like? Let's put a number, like let's quantify it.
I'll start smaller. I'll say 20.
Lose 20. Got it.
For the action steps, I put attend Weight Watchers workshops, track what I'm eating, and exercise.
What thought do you want to, or what do you want to feel as you're doing this work?
I want to feel energized, but I'm having trouble with the thought.
All right. So you want to lose 20 pounds. Your actions are going to be, you want to go to Weight Watchers, you want to track eating, exercise, you want to feel energized.
Yes.
So this could be a very good case of your primal brain trying to keep you in your comfort cave.
Oh yeah.
So it's not going to give you a thought. Now that you're onto it and you're aware of what it's doing, can you kind of play around a little bit with the thought?
I want to think that I'm successful.
Okay.
I'd like to think that.
Mhm. Do you believe that?
I have been successful in the past,
Okay,
so I'd like to be successful now as well.
sure, sure. Maybe something that'll help you feel energized might be something like, I've been successful in the past. I can be successful again.
Okay.
Might be one. I'm going to feel so good doing this work because I'm taking care of myself.
That's a good one.
Okay. Anyone else have one they'd like to suggest?
I did the same one, and I think I was thinking like losing weight will change my life, or open up new opportunities, or like travel and
Sure. Ooh, yeah, I'm gonna have lots of new opportunities. I'll be excited when my pants fit. I don't know. You can go. Shauna? Oh,
I
Shauna, you
wonder
need
about
to,
how do you, oh, I thought I did.
go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
Sure. Okay. How do I feel like, how do you feel in your body when you're at a different weight? Do you move easier? Do you feel more confident?
Yes.
Like, if she's been successful before, I'm sorry, Amy, I think
Yes.
how did you feel different in your body? Might be a way.
That's really good too. Yeah, because I also like when I'm working with my clients and they give me a thought, one of the questions I ask them is, how does it feel in your body? How does it feel in your body when your primal brain is sending you the thought, like, you're really terrible at losing weight? Feels pretty yucky, right? But thinking the thought, like, I'm going to give this my best shot and figure it out as I go along. To me, that feels a lot lighter. And we're always going for the lightest feeling possible, because when we're feeling the best is when we are going to take our positive actions, because you cannot negatively think your way into a positive result. Right? Amy, does that help you? Okay. All right. Are there any other questions? Because we are just about out of time for today. Anyone have any questions? Okay, oh, yes, Carol.
Yes, hi, I'm sorry.
No
I
worries.
am new to the group and I have an old phone and it died, but
Oh, no.
just how do you start when you have so many issues?
You pick one.
I mean, okay.
Yeah, really, you can't start on all of them.
Yep.
And two, the thing I want to tell you is when you are stuck in the that thought, like, I have too many issues to solve, like your brain is overwhelmed and it's not going to let you start on any of them. That is your primal brain keeping you in your comfort zone because it's telling you like, oh, you've got too many issues. Don't even try. Don't even bother. You won't be able to figure one of them out.
Makes
So just
sense.
say to yourself, like, I'm just going to start with one. And even if I don't know how to do it, I'm going to start and I'm going to figure it out. I only need to go one step at a time. You don't
you.
need to know the whole plan ahead of time. You just need to take the first step.
Well, what I was able to hear, thank you so much. It helped. And I look forward to next week. Thank you.
Yeah. And you can watch the recording too, because I know you popped in and out. So I'll be sending the recording.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So just to wrap everything up, I will be sending you all an email this afternoon with the video recording and with a link to the workshop. I'm also going to ask you if you wouldn't mind, please sending back to me your one biggest takeaway. That would really, really help me. Also, we will be having lunch and learn workshops every Wednesday through October. And I understand not everybody can commit to every week. I will be here, even if I'm here all by myself, and I'll still be sending you the recordings. You are welcome to come to as many as you want. You're also welcome to come to all of them if you would like. Next week, I'll be talking about why self-doubt is stressing you out. And I'm going to introduce you to all the different ways self-doubt is wreaking havoc in your life that you may not even know about. So I hope you will come back and see me again next Wednesday. If you have any questions, you're going to get an email from me. Reach out. I'd be happy to chat with you. Okay. All right, everybody. On that note, thank you for being here. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Bye, everyone.
Again.
Thank you.